Hello everyone, I'm Ameya. I'm your TA for this course and welcome to this recitation on Google Colab. So let's start with what is Google Colab. Google Colab is a Jupyter Notebook style Python 3 execution environment which can be accessed right in your browser without any uh, prerequisite setup. It is provided by Google Research as a free tool. So let's start with how you use Google Colab. So to use Google Colab, you need to create a notebook, and the notebook can be created from this link. So here you have a bunch of options. You can either create a new notebook, which will create a blank notebook that you can rename. And this notebook is basically saved in your Google Drive. The Google Drive for whichever Google account you're using to access this notebook. And alternatively, you can also load notebooks that you have already created. So if you have already been working on a notebook, it will appear in this list and you can select whichever one you want. And you can even upload notebooks from your local computer. Once you have created a notebook, the next step is to set up the processor and the runtime environment. So one of the best things about Google Colab and why it's recommended is that it provides free access to GPU. So you go to runtime, change runtime type, and here you can select GPU and TPU. So GPU, you will be using GPU extensively during this course. And if you are a Google Colab Pro subscriber, you'll also get the option to a high RAM execution, which is basically a better version of a CPU. So that can speed up your data loaders and any preprocessing code that you have. Next, so the Google Colab basically runs on a Linux environment, and you can interact with the terminal for this environment using the exclamation operator. So you can execute any bash commands using this. So here I'll show you how to install PyTorch. Since PyTorch is already installed, it will just give you that the requirement is already satisfied. You can also connect Colab to your Google Drive, and you can basically access your Google Drive through within the notebook then. So currently there are two ways of doing this. So the first one is using this drive mount command. It will ask you to give permission from your Google account. And once that's done, you can access your Google Drive at this location. So you can basically do something like and this should list all the files that you have in your Google Drive. So alternatively, there's this older version of the same command, which comes with an underscore before the mount word. And this will basically allow you to connect your Google Colab to another account's drive. So if you're using a Google Colab Pro subscription on one account, but you have your drive set up on another account, you can use it with alternate accounts. So for now, I'll just go with the standard mount. So once Google Drive is connected to the Colab notebook, you can use it as any standard storage space. So you can basically interact with it through the OS module or through the terminal. So here I'll show you how to create a directory in your drive. So this will basically create a directory named Ideal Spring 2022 Colab tutorial. And if you list the files, currently it's empty, so it won't show anything. So next up is you can now, once you have created a folder, you can write files to it and load files from there. So let's start off with a simple CSV. So this is just a simple CSV file, and you can just directly specify this path, any path with this prefix, content, drive, my drive, and then any existing folder, and then the file name, and you can directly either save or load files from there. So yeah, so this file has basically been saved. If I execute this, you can see that this file appears in the directory. Next, so this is like a very simple neural network, and you not just CSV files, but you can also directly save PyTorch modules there. So the process is pretty much same. You can specify a path with the same prefix and then assign a name to your model file, and you can use the inbuilt torch commands directly with the assigned path. So yeah, so now the directory that we created earlier also has the same model, and then you can use the same path to load the model as well. So this will be useful when you are like running long training jobs and you want to save models every few epochs and then load the best model once you want to make the submission. So the homework assignments will consist of Kaggle, and luckily you can connect to Kaggle directly from Google Colab. So a prerequisite for that is to have this token. So to get this token, you can go to Kaggle, you can go to your profile, account, and then in API, there's a create new API token button. If you click this, this will download a JSON file, which will consist of a pair of key values, which will be your username and a key. And you can just copy paste that here to connect it to Kaggle. So I've just assigned it to a variable name token. It can be anything. And these are the steps that you will have to execute to basically set up Kaggle on the Google Colab. And so this notebook will be linked in the video, and you can directly copy paste these commands whenever you want to use them. So yeah, as you can see, Kaggle has been successfully set up. So now you can use the Kaggle command to directly interact with whatever data and submissions that you have. So we have the sample competition here for this tutorial. So we can directly download the data with a command. And for each competition, you can directly find this command under the data tab on Kaggle. You can just copy and paste it here with the exclamation operator and execute it. Next, you can unzip the data that you have just downloaded. And yeah, so if you go to the file explorer here on the left, you can see whatever data that you have been downloaded, that has been downloaded and unzipped. And so once you have your model working and you have created a submission file, you can also directly submit it from Colab. So this is a submit command, which you can just directly copy from. There will be a submissions tab. You can go there and directly copy this command, edit it to any message that you want, and just execute the cell. And yeah, it will directly submit it. So if I refresh this just now, so yeah, this is the file that was submitted just now from the Colab. So another useful tool that Colab recently added is the variable inspector. So just above the file explorer, you can see the variable inspector tab. And so this is basically when you have a bunch of variables and a long notebook, you can easily access you can easily see a summary of what different variables you have, what do they contain, and here is basically what's the type and what's the shape. So this is really helpful for keeping track when you have when you are training a model and you have a lot of like data loaders and different variables that you want to keep a track of. Next is accessing the terminal. So like I said, the Google Colab notebook runs basically on a Linux terminal. So you can directly interact with the terminal from this terminal icon here at the bottom left. And this is basically situated in the same directory as your file explorer. So you can see the same files. So one thing that this can be useful for is, for example, you want to execute a Python file here. So you can upload a Python file from whatever location on your computer. And once it gets uploaded, you can access it through the terminal. And this is just a simple file that will print a very simple message. So you can execute it through the terminal. Yes, so this is just a simple Python file. And you can use Python files for like pre-processing or data loading purposes, and you can execute them through this terminal. But yeah, using the notebook interface is really easy as well. So you can just stick to that. And finally is resetting the runtime. So one of the most common errors that you'll encounter, and everyone who has taken this course has encountered, is the GPU running out of memory or the GPU running into some weird errors. And in that case, what you'll have to do is you'll have to restart the runtime, which will basically flush the GPU, and then you can rerun your code. So you have a couple of options here. If you choose just restart runtime, this won't delete the files that you have downloaded and won't uninstall any libraries that you have custom installed. But however, if you do factory reset runtime, it will delete all the files that you have downloaded here, as well as any custom installations that you have made onto this environment. And finally, so Google comes with a free tier. There is no subscription required. As long as you have a Google account, you can access the free tier of Colab readily. It also has a pro version, which I strongly recommend. It is $10 per month, and it has faster GPUs, more memory, and longer run times. So if you scroll down, you can see the differences with Colab Pro. You get up to 24 hours of persistent connection without any timeout, whereas with the free tier, it's just 12 hours. And you also get slightly better GPUs with the Pro subscription. However, even though I do recommend Colab Pro, the free tier is more than enough for all of the assignments throughout this course. And if you start well in time, you can definitely work well with just the free tier of the Colab. So thank you. If you have any questions about Colab, you can of course get in touch with me. And yeah, I'll try my best to solve your doubts. Thank you.